See this? This is Mexico, a nation that fought for its independence only to spend decades fighting itself. Coups, revolutions, foreign invasions, lost territory. By the mid-1800s, Mexico had already lost Texas, and it soon would lose much more. But history almost turned differently, because one moment, one battle, decided more than anyone realized. San Jacinto, 1836. In our timeline, the Mexican army lost, and its commander was captured. He survived, he signed agreements, he returned to power again and again. And Mexico never truly recovered. But what if he never came back? What if Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna had chosen to die instead of surrender? In this timeline, the battle unfolds the same. The Mexican army is surprised, the line breaks, the camp falls into chaos. Officers urge Santa Anna to escape. In our history, he does. In this timeline though, he refuses. He stays with the army and leads a final counterattack. And he dies on the field. Capture, no treaty, no humiliation. Mexico loses the battle, but gains a martyr. News reaches Mexico City weeks later. Shock, anger, fear. But not the same anger as before. Without Santa Anna alive to blame, the defeat cannot be placed on one man. Congress declares him defender of the nation. Texas is not recognized as independent. The story changes. Mexico did not lose because it was weak. Mexico lost because it stood alone. And that idea matters. Because for the first time since independence, Mexico has something it never truly had before, a shared symbol. The 1830s and 1840s are still unstable. There are still factions, still generals, still politics. But something changes. Federalists and Centralists argue, yet both claim to defend the nation. The army, once blamed for defeat, is now seen as a shield of the Republic. Texas remains lost in practice, but never accepted. Border raids continue, expeditions fail, diplomacy stalls. The conflict never truly ends, and because it never ends, the US hesitates. Annexation comes slower, war comes later. And when it comes, it is not one clean victory. In our history, the Mexican-American War lasted 2 years. Mexico collapsed, half the country was gone. In this timeline, the loss comes in pieces. Texas first, then disputed borders, then more territory slowly. Raids, filibusters, skirmishes, treaties no one trusts. The United States grows stronger. Mexico remains weaker, but Mexico never feels finished. Each defeat serves the same idea. The nation survives only through unity, and the memory of San Jacinto can never disappear. By the 1850s, tensions grow everywhere. In the US, the question of slavery divides the country. In Mexico, the question of survival defines politics. Both nations arm, both watch the border, and when the crisis finally comes in 1861, it begins the same way. The United States breaks into two, the Union and the Confederacy. But this time, the continent is already unstable. The Confederacy needs allies. Europe watches carefully, and Napoleon III sees an opportunity. In our history, France invaded Mexico while the US Civil War raged on. In this timeline, the move is bigger. Confederate diplomats promise cooperation. France prepares an expedition, but Mexico refuses to submit. Under Benito Juárez, the government calls it what it is, not intervention, not politics, but survival. And for the first time in decades, Mexico and the Union find themselves on the same side. Not out of goodwill, but for the fate of North America. Now the war spreads. Union against Confederacy, Mexico against France, border fighting in Texas, naval clashes in the Gulf. The conflict lasts much longer, costs much more, and kills much more. France cannot hold Mexico. The Confederacy cannot win the war. The Union cannot end it quickly. By the time the fighting stops, no one feels victorious, only exhausted. The Union survives, but scarred. Mexico survives, but hardened. France withdraws, but resentful. The border remains tense. Mexico remembers the land it lost. The United States remembers the war that almost spread. And the story of San Jacinto still lingers. The day a general died, and the nation learned that survival depends on unity. In this timeline, Mexico did not avoid defeat. It did not become stronger overnight. It did something harder. It endured. And because it endured, the struggles of the 19th century did not end in 1848. They stretched across decades, through civil war, foreign invasion, and continental conflict. All because one man chose not to surrender. And the only question left is, if a nation is shaped by the battles it loses, what kind of country rises from a century of survival?